Hey guys, so this video is going to be covering a few topics surrounding the Nokia 5.1. The three major topics are 1. Bootloader unlocking, 2. Running AOSP, and 3. Patching Magisk. Now I did mention Nokia 5.1, but this guide can be used as a general guide for most Nokia devices running MTK processors, and indeed most devices running MTK processors. Now, because this is an unofficial way of unlocking the bootloader, I am not responsible for any issues arising from using this guide. Use this guide at your own risk. If you have an official way of unlocking your bootloader, try that as your first option. Now that we've got that out of the way, if you just want to have a quick reference of what this video is going to be covering, the list is on the screen at the moment, and if you just want a bit more clarification on what the steps are going to be doing, feel free to watch this video. Now, because I'm going to be flashing a AOSP ROM onto my device, you need to have a device that's running Android 8.0 Oreo or greater. So you can check if your device supports Treble by downloading a Treble Checker app on the App Store, or you can use the ADB shell command, which I'll do right now. This, if your device supports Treble, will return true. So let's run this. True. So I have my Nokia 5.1 plugged in. So ADB devices. See, this is my Nokia 5.1, and so it supports Treble. Now we also must have MTKClient and the required drivers already set up. So MTKClient is the tool that we're going to be using today. It's available on GitHub. I should have a link in the video description. But this tool is basically what we're going to be using to unlock the bootloader, as well as dump ROMs and flash the AOSP GSI. Most MTK devices that have locked bootloaders don't have TWRP or any other custom recovery, so this will act as our recovery software. So, installation. If you want to actually install the software on your device, you can use the Linux or macOS instructions or the Windows instructions, or if you don't want to install anything, you can just use the pre-installed live DVD. In this case, you're going to be having to download this, flash this onto a USB, and then boot that USB to use the software. Now, I also downloaded the required GSI. In my case, I'm going to be using AOSP, so I straight up went to Google and downloaded the ARM64 version. This version does not have any other Google apps. If you want to have Google apps, you need to be downloading the ARM64 Plus GMS. So I've already downloaded this and I've saved this at AOSP 10, and over here we have both system IMG and VB Meta IMG. Now let's get started with the process. So backup any data you do not want to be deleted. Obviously things might go wrong, and if you do unlock the bootloader, you actually might lose all the data that's stored on the device. So you want to be doing all the backup before you delete anything. Next, you want to have a full factory reset of the device, and you want to be able to reboot it and then set it up. Don't set up any of the Google accounts, don't connect to Wi-Fi, anything like that. Don't have to worry about that at the moment. Just go through the setup again after you've reset the device and enable USB debugging. Your next step is going to be starting MTKClient and then plugging in the phone in BROM mode. So MTKClient can be started via the command line if you run .mtkgui in the file. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to the MTKClient file. We're going to go mtkgui, right click, run in console, and it should create a terminal, as well as the program that we're going to be using today. Now, it does give you a hint as to what you're going to be doing next. So it says power off the phone, and then for BROM mode, hold the volume up and volume down keys. So I'm plugging in my phone right now. Yep, there you go. Shows the device. Helio P10, whatever. And then once this is done, it's going to show this screen. Now, once we've done that, read, dump all partitions of the device. You will need to do that in the case you screw up something on the software side. So let's say you unlock the bootloader and your device no longer works. You click select. Can I expand this? Right. So click select all partitions and then read partitions. By reading these partitions, I've already made a file here. You dump it in this, and This will basically back up everything from your device. Now, once you've done that, you can unlock the bootloader. You can do this by simply going to Flash Tools, and pressing Unlock Bootloader. If we actually open up the terminal here, move this here, Unlock Bootloader, right, terminated, right, it's unlocked. So to verify it's unlocked, we restart the phone, and then we run fastboot getvar all, and we look for unlocked equals yes. So I'll do that right now. Let's disconnect the device. I am restarting the device. I'm closing this as well, because one of the issues that you have with MTKClient is that it cannot reconnect to a phone that's been disconnected. So you're going to have to turn it off and then turn it back on again. Classic software debugging, I guess. So yeah. Let me just open up a console. KO in. So we're prepared. Now, it's just booting up the device. Also, another telltale sign while we're waiting is that for the Nokia 5.1, it should show the serial number of your device on the screen as it's booting up. So now let's just go ADB devices. Right, we're connected. ADB fastboot reboot. Sorry, ADB reboot fastboot. So that's the command that you're going to be using to reboot the Nokia 5.1 and most MTK devices into fastboot. Sometimes you can get away with using a button command while you're plugging in the device. I find that doing the ADB reboot fastboot works best. So reboot it into fastboot mode. Now let's go to do this command. Fastboot getvar all. Copy this. Run this. And we're looking for bootloader unlocked. Yes. So now we have unlocked the bootloader for the Nokia 5.1. Now what we're going to be doing next is once again restarting. So this one. So we verified it. And we're going to be restarting MTKClient and plug in the phone BROM mode. So once again, MTK GUI, run in console, right, and then reboots the phone in BROM mode. So let's do that right now. So volume up, volume down, and then connect. Should have some terminal output. There you go. And this should change. Yep. So, right. So as I mentioned earlier, we downloaded a GSI file, the AOSP file. And so what we're going to be doing now is renaming the file from system.img to system.bin. This is because MTK GUI cannot flash image files at the moment. It can only flash binary files. So all we're doing is going to right click, rename, misclick, rename, and then go from system.img to system.bin. Once you've done that, we have to write or flash system.bin to system A partition. So in MTK GUI, we have to go write partitions, and we go all the way down to system-A. Right here, system-A. Now would also be a good time to check if the partition size is big enough. In our case, it is. So we can go set, go to the AOSP 10, system.bin, and then we hit write partitions. Once we do that, these bars will start going all the way through, and once both these bars have reached 100%, the system has been flashed. Once we do that, we disconnect the device and we reboot it. Now, initial boot is going to take a bit of time as the device resets and does all the other reconfiguring of the software, but in some cases, you will boot loop your device. Like, it will not boot the correct ROM. If this does happen, then what you can do is then once again restart MTKClient and then go to write partitions and then select from directory, and then write the entire dump partition into this, once again resetting the device back to, resetting the device, and this puts you back to step 5, this step here. And then you might have to try another GSI, or you have to try some other ways to unlock the bootloader or flash just another GSI, right? So now that the device has started again, so let's plug the device in. Let's go to ADB devices and see if it's actually connected. So ADB devices, yep, my device is connected in ADB mode. Now if you want to be flashing a Magisk, then we have to follow these extra steps. Now, download and install the Magisk APK on your device. You can get it from the MTK guys as well, I think. So if you actually go to the website, so this one, download it here, put this on your device and install it. Follow the instruction on there up until the point where it says select a, I think it's a boot.img file. Now, if you check your dump, you may have noticed that your dump does not actually contain any IMG files. This is somewhat of a misnomer. It does. The file that we need is boota.bin. So we're going to be saving this into a separate file, and we're just going to be renaming it to boota.img. So once again, on the guide over here, write boota.bin and rename it to boota.img. Transfer to device, and then use Magisk to patch the bootloader. So run it through Magisk, and after you've done that, you should get a file that looks something like this. This is now your patched image file that you're going to be reflashing using MTK onto the device. Now, once again, start MTK, transfer it to the computer, and then rename it to boota.img. Rename it from boota.img to boota.bin. Once again, I actually forgot. MTKClient cannot flash image files. It can only flash binary files. So you have to be renaming this from this. Right click, rename, and then change it to bin. Once that's done, right, once again, connect the phone through BROM mode. And then what we're going to be doing is flashing boota.bin to boota partition. So we're going to be going here. Let's actually clear all these partitions. We're not going to be using them because I don't want to get anything, well, make a mistake. So we're going to be powering off our device and once again connecting it to the computer via BROM mode. So let's go here, right click MTK GUI, run in console. It's going to show up some stuff. Connect via BROM mode. Yep, done. Just let for the text to go all the way through. Now write partition boot A, which is going to be somewhere coming up right here, boot A partition. So this one, set this to the Magisk patched bin, open, and then write the partition to the device. Once you've done that, you should be enabled, you should have patched the ROM and everything, and you should be able to reboot the device and verify that Magisk works. So you do this by going onto the app, and it should say on the app like you have super user access. So hopefully this has been a useful guide for you to be able to patch your ROMs, unlock the bootloader first and foremost, and then run custom software. I know I'm not the best at explaining stuff. I have done my best, and I've also had like a quick guide, and hopefully that's helped you through. Hopefully, well, it's worked for you, and safe flashing for other software. See you, and goodbye.